had after game one. I thought it was going to be a little louder in here. That's the Jumbotron in Boston. And Windy, they were putting that up there all night long for the crowd to let Kyrie hear it.
Yeah, there were two things I felt that Kyrie had gotten past that he has kind of come back to. One is sort of getting into the stuff with the fans. That was an unforced error to say that. They played that repeatedly or showed that repeatedly, you know, as the fans were hyping up for the game. And when he came out onto the court for the pregame warmups, it was as loud as it was all night, booing him to make sure he heard the boos. And even after he got off to a good start, hitting 4 of his first 5 shots, he was being kind of demonstrative with the fans. That is not the Kyrie we saw all year, who was complete at peace of mind. I do think that they affected him in game 1 and 2. I do think it caused him to get out of his rhythm. The other thing I'm going to say is we've praised Kyrie correctly all year long, especially in the postseason, for his defense. He is getting hurt at the defensive end. The Celtics are going after him. They are 11 of 16 shooting for 27 points against Kyrie. So not only is he, zipped up offensively, he is getting beat at the other end, and he's allowing himself to get involved with the crowd. That's not the formula for what we saw with such a special postseason for Kyrie.
Yeah, you're not going to be one of the great Robins of all time like we were trying to anoint him if you're going to have games like this. So he's going to have to be not just a little better, exponentially better. But what also we're seeing is you have to give credit where credit's due. Let's get back to what Boston's doing with him. Defensively, they have been fantastic. In fact, our stats and information group had a great stat last night. Kyrie Irving contested on 84% of the field goal attempts that he's taken so far in this series. 84% of them are contested shots, but 35% overall on such shots. And you can see right there what we're talking about is that they are guarding him well. He hasn't made a 3 contested yet. So this is a guy that's a great shot maker. Wendy told you they're also seeking him out defensively, making him work. Then you add the crucible of him going back to Boston and playing there and knowing that he's got a little bit of rabbit ears in that building. All that's going on. He goes home now to Dallas, to a place that now he'll have a little bit more of a friendly environment. He's going to have to not step up a little bit. He's got to have an epic game 3 to reset this series, because right now they will lose this series if he cannot find his game again.
Go ahead, Big Perk.
You know who else is feeding off the Boston crowd? It's the players. When I'm watching them, and especially on those clips as Alan was talking just now, I'm watching those guys, all of those guys, whether it was Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, whoever. When they got put on the island 101 against Kyrie Irving, they were buckled down, locked in, and was basically saying, let me see it. And when you have that type of mindset, that means that you're taking pride in your defensive effort against Kyrie. Listen, the Boston Celtics are not sending a trap towards him. They're saying, you know what? We're going to put the straps on you. They're feeding off the energy of that crowd. Last night, I saw Kristaps Porzingis switch out on Kyrie Irving a few times, and he did what he's supposed to do right here. 7-3, use the stick hand, contain, move his feet a little bit, and when Kyrie leaves his feet to shoot the ball, I'm 7-3, I'm going to contest. It's hard for you to get a great shot. This team has their fans back right now, and they're feeding off the energy, and it's part of the home court advantage. It's a real thing.
Yeah, and look, the scene goes back to Dallas. Games 3 and 4 are Wednesday and Friday night. Certainly all this could turn around. But at this moment, Legs, there's a part of me that just feels like pointing out the Boston Celtics are 78-16 this year, right? I mean, they've been the best team from the very beginning. It lulled us to sleep. The East, let's just say it, the East was the junior varsity in the NBA this year. So we overlooked it. And then in the playoffs, everyone they played kept getting hurt. So we kind of overlooked it. But maybe what they're proving through these first 2 games, because they haven't even gotten a signature game from either of their superstars. They're about to have the 2 highest paid players in the entire league. Neither one of them have had a signature game yet in this series, and they're up 2 games to none. Legs, I think what they're just showing everybody is we are the best team, and we have been from the second the season started.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Listen, all year long, they set the tone. They lapped the entire Eastern Conference by winning the conference by 14 games. The versatility, the depth, all of the defensive versatility, all the things we praise them for, you're seeing that in this series. The one thing I will say about Dallas, though, based on what we saw out of them over the last few months, based on what we saw out of them, it's with signature moments of their own in the first 3 rounds. They've been so far beneath their best that I'm still waiting to see. Is there another gear that they can get to? We talked a lot about Kyrie. It's not just Kyrie. Nobody on this team is making an open three-point shot in terms of their role players playing off of Luka and Kyrie. We know they can't keep the ball in front. I don't know if that's going to change because that's a personnel thing, and that's really Boston playing to their strength. If they continue to do that, I think Dallas will continue to have challenges there. But their defensive energy overall, Perk alluded to this, he's right. You're not seeing the urgency to get back in front of the ball with 5 guys defensively. You're not seeing the impact of Gafford and Lively, bouncing around with athletic legs in the lane. There's so many areas in which Dallas has been below their best that I'm waiting to see if they can find that when they get to Dallas and make this a series. They're going to have one opportunity to get into this series, and it's going to be on Wednesday night. And I think we're all waiting to see what their response is going to be.
We are just getting rolling here. We haven't even yet gotten to the latest on Kristaps Porzingis' injury. We will. We haven't yet gotten to the foul that was not called late, and we will, and what difference that might have made, and a whole lot more. Jason Tatum, can this team continue to win if their superstars don't lead the way? Much, much more on these NBA Finals. Plus, the other big story from the NBA, Woj says Dan Hurley's decision should come today. Is he going to leave UConn to coach LeBron and the Lakers? Wendy's got the insight as we continue next. Just getting started on a Monday.
Told me, quote, "Good thing we don't have to find out." Now all Holiday hopes for is his teammates to find out what it feels like to win it all. In Boston, I'm Dave McMenamin, ESPN.
Such an unselfish star. And for more on this, we bring in our NBA analyst, Tim Legler. Legs, everybody talks about Tatum and Brown on this Celtics team, but Drew Holiday is the lone player on this roster that has an NBA championship ring. What impressed you most about Holiday last night?
Well, Ryan, I just thought he was really smart in the way that he attacked their defense because this was a night when neither team shot the ball particularly well from the three-point line. So Drew Holiday found areas in which he could drive and finish at the rim against the backline defenders because he was very patient. He was 9 for 9 in his first 9 field goal attempts inside the paint. That was really critical on a night when it was just not there from the perimeter collectively as a team. And if you look at Drew Holiday in the first half of this game, if he doesn't do what he did offensively, there's a very good chance Boston is down 8 or 10 points at halftime to the Dallas Mavericks. And maybe that feels a lot different to both teams coming out to start that third quarter. Instead, they had a 3-point lead in large part because of the way Drew Holiday played in that first half. I just love that feature we just did because I think it speaks volumes about who these guys are, what their mission is. And it's important just to win, not how you win necessarily. And right now, Boston has 2 of those, and Dallas trying to get on the board.
Yeah, not who's scoring the points, but who scores more points, especially right now, NBA Finals. Speaking of Holiday, by the way, he scored 26 last night, his 3rd career 20-point Finals game, so you know he can get it done when the stakes are at their highest. As for Dallas, they find themselves down 0-2 for the first time in this postseason. What is the Mavericks' most significant area that they need to clean up to try to come back and win?
Well, there's a long list, but I'm going to start with Kyrie Irving. I mean, he's just too good of an offensive player to be bottled up to this extent through 2 games. And I think that if he doesn't find a way to imprint this game as an electrifying scorer, I don't know that Dallas wins a game in this series. I think that's where I'm looking. The length has bothered him. I think at times maybe he's thinking a little bit too much off the dribble and not as decisive as he needs to be to get into his moves, whether it be trying to get to the rim or getting to a step back mid-range. He seems like he's overthinking the game a little bit. Let's see if a change of venue can be something positive for Kyrie and he can pair up with Luka and get Dallas back in this series.
Yeah, we'll see because Kyrie's lost 12 straight games against the Celtics, including 0 for 7 in Boston. Let's see if he writes a